There's a certain type of person who walks into a room and instantly senses everything. They notice the shift in someone's tone before the words even change. They feel the tension between two people across the table before anyone says a word. They can tell when someone is lying, when someone is hurting, when someone is about to break down. They read people like open books. But here is the strange and painful truth about these people. They can understand everyone, but they feel understood by no one. If this sounds like you, this video is going to explain why. And more importantly, it's going to show you how to change it. See, the ability to read people deeply usually comes from a specific source. It doesn't come from taking a course or reading a book. It comes from pain. Think about it. A child who grew up in a chaotic home, always watching their parents' moods, learned to predict anger before it arrived. A kid who never knew which version of their parent they'd meet that day became an expert at reading facial expressions, tone of voice, body language. They didn't choose the skill. They were forced to develop it. Survival required it, and so they became hyper-aware of other people's emotions, needs, and hidden feelings. But in the process of becoming experts at everyone else, they forgot how to turn that same attention inward. This is the wound behind the observation. The reason you can see everyone so clearly but feel so invisible yourself. Let me break down what's actually happening in your mind. When you grew up having to monitor other people's emotions just to stay safe, your brain formed a pattern. It learned that other people's feelings were dangerous, that someone else's bad mood could explode into something scary, that you had to be ready, always ready, to adapt. So your brain became incredibly good at one thing, scanning the external world for threats. But here's the cost. While your brain was busy watching everyone else, it stopped watching you. It never learned how to sit with your own feelings, how to ask yourself what you actually want, how to trust your own inner voice instead of second-guessing it every second. You became a master at reading others and a stranger to yourself. This creates a deep sense of loneliness that most people can't understand. You have friends, but you have family. People tell you that you're insightful, that you're easy to talk to, that you always know the right thing to say. But underneath all of that, you feel like a ghost. You show up for everyone. You understand their struggles, their pain, their hidden fears. You know exactly what to say to make them feel better. But when it's your turn to be understood, something different happens. The words don't come, or they come out wrong. Or you try to explain what you're feeling and it comes across as confused or complicated or too much after. And so you stop trying. You learn to swallow your own pain and keep giving to everyone else. This is the trap. This is the wound that keeps reopening. You became so good at being there for others that you forgot how to let others be there for you. And here's the hardest part. Other people aren't intentionally ignoring you. They just can't read you the way you read them because you never taught them how. You learned to hide your own pain so well that now, even when someone asks if you're okay, your automatic answer is yes. This is what happens when the observer becomes invisible, when the person who sees everything learns to make themselves unseen. So how do you break this cycle? The first step is understanding that your ability to read people is not the problem. It's a gift, but it's only half the skill. The other half is learning to turn that same gaze inward, learning to observe yourself with the same depth and compassion that you give to everyone else. Start by asking yourself simple questions throughout the day. What am I feeling right now? What do I actually want in this moment? What does my body feel like? You spent your childhood learning to ignore your own needs in order to survive. Now you get to rebuild that connection slowly. patiently, like learning to walk again. The second step is something harder. You have to let people in, not just the parts of you that are helpful, not just the version of you that has everything figured out. The scared parts, the confused parts, the parts that don't make sense even to you. I know this feels dangerous. I know your whole life you've learned that showing weakness invites harm. But the truth is, the people who truly love you cannot read your mind. They want to understand you. They just don't know how, because you've never given them the chance. Try this. The next time someone asks how you're doing, tell them the real answer, not the polished version. The honest one. See what happens. You might be surprised. Most people aren't trying to hurt you. Most people are waiting for you to trust them enough to show them who you really are. The third step is learning to receive. This is the hardest one for people like you. You give and give and give, and when someone tries to give back, you deflect. You say it's fine. You say you don't need anything. You turn the conversation back to them because that's where you feel safe. But real connection requires exchange. It requires you to accept what other people want to offer. Not because you have to, but because letting someone help you is its own form of strength. Here's the reframe that might change everything for you. You didn't develop this ability to read people because something was wrong with you. You developed it because you survived. You adapted. You found a way to navigate a world that didn't feel safe. That takes strength. Real strength. But now you're older. You're in different circumstances. And the skills that kept you safe as a child are keeping you lonely as an adult. The goal isn't to stop observing. It's to observe yourself too. The goal isn't to stop being there for others. It's to let others be there for you. The goal isn't to become less aware of other people's pain. It's to become equally aware of your own. You have spent your whole life understanding everyone else. It's time to understand yourself. And here's the thing. Once you do, something beautiful happens. You stop feeling so alone because you finally let people see the person they've wanted to see all along, the one who understands them. And now, finally, the one who understands you too. That's the shift. That's the growth. That's what's waiting on the other side of this pattern. Now go do the work.